Hands over your head, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind NBA live stream. This is our 4-game slate breakdown. Cannot wait to break it down. We've had a full day of NBA, a very odd day. Happy Martin Luther King Day to every single person out here. Happy Monday to every single person. Today is a great day to make some money. Like I said, we have a 4-game slate with no value, so you guys will need to stay tuned here for this live stream. Hopefully we get some value. If not, we still have some value plays up our belt. Very not straightforward slate, I'd say. Right now we have ownership as high as 37%, and it's only a 4-game slate, so it's spread all over the place. It's just an absolute crazy slate to break down. TJ's still listening to the music here. Let's go ahead and break this thing down. Hopefully you guys are all having a great day. All 70 of you guys, thanks for tuning in. It is Monday night. All right, let's go ahead and start by breaking down this slate, TJ. So this slate is very weird. We have a standout game here with the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks. 240.5. It's like the most obvious play. I think it's the most obvious game to target on the slate. However, there's not too much value within this game, TJ. It's almost like we have to work backwards. We have to start from the top down. We have to pick out some of our favorite studs, and then we have to go backwards and then pick out some of these value plays. It's not like you have these obvious value plays that we're used to starting our lineups with. So let's go ahead and start with the Milwaukee-Brooklyn game, and let's talk about it. I made the thumbnail Giannis because he was a very obvious play, just from, just the naked eye, I guess you could say. 240 over-under. They are projected to win by 4 points. Should be an up-paced game. It's the second highest total on the season, only right behind Brooklyn and Atlanta themselves. So what are your thoughts here, TJ? If we're starting with the Milwaukee-Brooklyn game, is that going to be a game we're going to be targeting?
Yeah, Matt. It's a very high over-under, highest one that we do have on the slate. And like you talked about, there are a lot of studs to pay up for tonight, and there really isn't that much value. So it is pretty difficult to build tonight. And I think there's definitely some edge, and I think there are some fantastic spots that you can look at tonight. And, starting with this game with the Bucks and Brooklyn, I have interest on both sides. And, I'm looking at the studs, and you're talking about Giannis from the naked eye. Yeah, at 10-4, he looks fantastic. I also like Chris Middleton at 8K, Matt. Again, this is a team that really they don't have any injuries currently because Connaughton's back. They haven't had any COVID issues. So they're fully healthy right now. Yeah. So right now we have Giannis on the year averaging 1.61 fantasy points per minute and a 34.7% usage rate. I have him pegged for 54.5 DraftKings points. We got Middleton in the mix as a 1.26 fantasy point per minute, 25% usage rate, and I have him currently pegged at 44 DraftKings points. So I think those are two really good spend-up spots in a fantastic matchup against Brooklyn where we should see a lot of points, Matt. But we are trying to find some value. So I think one guy that you potentially can look at, and I'm not saying that I'm really high on him, would be DJ Augustine at 3,500. He's projected at 21 minutes, and it is a really good matchup against Brooklyn. So I guess if I'm saying trying to find some value, Matt, I don't hate DJ Augustine, but I think I have some more interest on the Brooklyn side in terms of the value. So when I'm just looking at Milwaukee as a whole, I want to try and spend up for Giannis, and I would love to get Chris Middleton tonight as well. But there's so many studs to pay up for specifically that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one of them, or obviously both of them is probably going to be nearly impossible.
Yeah, completely agree with everything you said. Let me just shoot it straight to you guys. This slate is going to come down to whether you pick the right studs specifically. Yeah, I'd say between this game, and we can't give you a great I guess we can't give you a great stance on which players to select from. It's between Chris Middleton, Giannis, Harden, and Durant, obviously. Okay, but you can only get two of those, maybe three if you're paying down to bottom of the barrel of those guys. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can get two, but it does make things difficult. You could probably get I don't think you can get three, actually. I was going to say, maybe if you go KD, Giannis, Middleton, you have a chance to get three, but you're probably getting two guys that are like bottom 3K, and there's no one really viable tonight. So I don't see a world where you can get three of them.
Yeah, and also we're getting some, some updates here on the Miami Heat. They're not in the slate. They have not been added to the slate. So we are not paying attention to that Miami game. Don't care about the updates. If you guys are still playing the early slate, then you can talk about that. But so specifically for the Milwaukee Bucks, nobody really interests me outside of Chris Middleton and Giannis. And like you said, Augustine is more of a stretch. I think if you're looking for value in this game, you can go down to somebody like DiVincenzo, but that's not really value. You can go down to somebody like Brook Lopez. We know we like to target centers against Brooklyn. He's projected at 30 minutes right now. Don't hate him. Again, all these guys are in pace-up spots from this game. Should be an absolute shootout. Should be competitive. I think we're going to see maybe a potential Eastern Conference showdown a little bit later, or what could be. I know you don't like to hear that, TJ, with your Celtics in the mix.
Yeah, but get out of here.
Drew Holiday also not that bad of an option. A more contrarian play at $7,200, 13.6%. But yeah, if I am starting out my lineup, I'm probably going to lean towards Giannis, the highest usage guy in a high pace-up game from Milwaukee. They're a favorite. I'm probably going to lean towards Giannis, TJ. If you're grabbing one person from this game, where are you leaning towards?
I think I'm going to lean Harden. I really like what I saw from him in his first game debuting as a net against Orlando. He had a 38.4% usage rate, Matt, which was higher than KD. KD had a 36% usage rate. So the ball was in one of their hands for a majority of the game, right? I think the price tag for Harden is still a little low. And in his opening game, where is it? Where are you, James? Where are you on my sheet? He averaged 1.91 fantasy points per minute. And like I talked about, the usage rate was there. So I just like him to make plays for Brooklyn, and I don't really think they have anybody else that can handle the ball. So I really like Harden at 10-8 when it comes to, I look at the Bucks as a whole, and I feel like they're more well-rounded. Like, yeah, you have Giannis that takes a lot of usage, but they also have Chris Middleton. They have Drew Holiday. Like, they have Dante DiVincenzo. When I look at Brooklyn, I really look at James Harden and Kevin Durant. And, I mean, you have Bruce Brown there, who was not irrelevant, but he barely had the ball in his hands against Orlando. You got Joe Harris, who's more of a spot shooter or catch and shoot type shooter. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, man, the opportunities for assists, and we know how big James Harden is getting rebounds to try and get those triple doubles. So I really like Harden as my spend up here. He is carrying a lot of ownership, as is Giannis. But Matt, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these guys. So if you're starting with Harden, that's fantastic. If you're starting with Giannis, that's fantastic too. So everybody's going to have their own preference, and there really is no right answer, especially tonight. Yeah. So my preference is Harden. Your preference is Giannis. Again, but I think targeting the studs in this game is going to be crucial. But when we're looking at Brooklyn as a whole, Matt, I still really like KD at 10-1 with all those guys off the floor after the trade. He gets a 2.1% usage bump. He's a 1.55 fantasy point per minute player and a 35% usage rate. And again, we saw with Harden, his usage rate was at 36 in that opening game against Orlando. So I don't think that usage is going to take a hit at all. I have him currently projected at 60 DraftKings points. So I think KD is a fantastic play as well. DeAndre Jordan is someone that interests me at 4,800. I think he's a cheaper guy that is viable and has the ability to pay off his price tag. Tough matchup against the Bucks, but it's a very high over-under, and I think he can bang down low with Brook Lopez. So I do like DeAndre Jordan as somewhat of a salary relief. And then TLC is the other guy that I'm looking at 3,700. I have him currently projected at 17 DraftKings points. He's only 3,700, and he's not a guy that is afraid to shoot the ball. And Matt, in these higher runners, we love to target shooters. So if he can put up 10 shots and he hits 5 of them, he's going to get you value. Right. So those are 2 guys that I'm looking at as cheaper plays that I think could be viable if you're landing on them in cash.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said. And like I said, the difference between a takedown or not is going to be getting the right studs in this game. And we have no answer for you guys. Okay, so if you're playing tonight, I do recommend playing MME. I already said to TJ right before I got in the stream, I'm not playing single entry. I'm not doing it because it's not skill based at that point. You're just picking the correct studs. And if you get it right, then you get it right. If you don't, well, it's not based on skill. So I'm running a bunch of MMA. I'm limiting my exposures. 2 of these guys from this game, either one or the on the other side of the ball, should have a ceiling game, whether it be Giannis or Harden, Durant or Middleton. You pick and choose. There should be a ceiling potential game. Possibly even 3 of these 4 should have a very high ceiling, assuming it goes over the total of 240, which is absolutely crazy. So if there's going to be value I'm looking at from this game, it's going to be Jeff Green. Jeff Green stands out just because of the minutes. 29 minutes, $4,200. Yep. DeAndre Jordan, you already mentioned, the only true center on this roster, has to be on the floor. What's up?
They have Reggie Perry. So I don't hate him as a tournament play, as a punt, but I wouldn't go there in cash. You know, because if DJ gets into foul trouble, he could play 20-ish minutes. Yeah,
and then also, by the way, Kevin Durant's now center eligible. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yep.
Yeah. TLC is $3,700, 24 minutes, like you mentioned. All those guys are great options, but again, if you're just trying to shove in some value, I'm going to prefer some people later on the slate. Let's go ahead and go down the line. Guys, target the first game if you're trying to get in fillers, and yes, you have to start your build with 1 or 2 of these 4 studs in the very first game.
Yep.
All right, going on to Dallas. Let's talk about Dallas because they also have a stud that's going to get overlooked tonight just because we just talked about all the reasons why. Doncic, $11,000. TJ, I know you have a lot to say about Doncic. What is his fantasy point per minute looking like with all these injuries off the court?
So Giannis with DFS, Kleber, Powell, and Josh Richardson off the floor is averaging 2.04 fantasy points per minute and a 38% usage rate. And that is even with Porzingis back. So, Matt, I know you're not going to like to hear this, but if I am constructing a 1 lineup tonight, I'm starting my builds with James Harden and Luka. I really love what I've seen from Luka with all these guys off the floor. The usage is there. He's been absolutely everywhere on the court. He's only 11K. I think he can easily pay off this price tag, and they're in a game where they are road dogs. So I expect a lot of Luka to try and keep this game competitive against the Raptors. Now, I understand the over-under is significantly lower than the Milwaukee and Brooklyn game. So if you guys think I'm crazy by thinking Luka, by all means, go get Giannis, go get KD. They're going to carry more ownership. But me specifically, with everybody being off the floor here in Dallas in a game where they're going to be trailing and relying on Luka, that's why I really like him at 11K, even with Porzingis playing. And we still have Hardaway that's questionable. So we're still waiting on that news, Matt. And I just really like Luka at 11K. I think that's way underpriced for him currently, especially with all those guys off the floor. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to start my builds tonight. 99% sure that's where I'm going to start. You know, I could get off the stream and be like, you know what? No, I'm going Giannis. That's stupid. But I do like Luka in this game. In terms of value, I don't really have any interest here. I think they're a little bit too expensive for me. Okay. I'm looking, if you're starting Luka and Harden, or Luka and Giannis, or Giannis and KD, or Harden and KD, whatever build you're going to have, a lot of your guys are going to be in that mid 4K, low 4K, and lower to mid 5K range. And like Willie Cauley-Stein at 5,800 is too expensive for me. Hardaway is too expensive, approaching 7K. Like Trey Burke at 5,600, no. James Johnson at 5K. I guess I could entertain it, but I have interest in some other games if I'm looking for some other value. So for Dallas, for me, it's just Luka.
Porzingis is also getting starter minutes finally, 33 minutes. He's what he played last game. Do you have any interest there in Porzingis?
I do, but not in cash. If I'm going there, for me, it's just going to be tournaments for him. Yeah, his minutes are starting to creep up there. So the more consistency we'll see throughout the season, like once he starts to find his shot a little more, I'll have some interest in him. But for right now, I don't have any interest. It would just be tournaments, if anything.
All right, so yeah, Luka is a monster. I pulled up the chart while you were talking, TJ, just to prove to everybody this guy has been on a different level, especially as of late. So I can't disagree with what you're saying. Like, I can't hate on you starting Doncic over these guys. But you know, I always favor the over-unders. I always favor you know, the most obvious plays. And it's gonna. Giannis hasn't been in too many close games this season, and when he is, he just dominates. He just absolutely dominates. So this is going to be a game where it's going to be competitive. That's the only reason I prefer Giannis. But I won't hate you guys for going Doncic. 2.02 fantasy points, or 2.04 fantasy points per minute. Absolutely insane. That is crazy to say out loud. But the only thing that scares me is the defense here. So he's definitely going to be more contrarian. This game should be competitive. All these games should be relatively competitive, except for maybe the last one. Yeah, Doncic, $11,000, guys. I think he's a great contrarian play. Nobody else on this team that I even come close to preferring. Willie Cauley-Stein is way too high of a price tag of $5,800. None of these guys are carrying good fantasy points per minute. It's just going to be Doncic and maybe Porzingis for me. But for cash, nobody for me. For TJ, it's going to be Doncic. And then moving on to the Toronto side, there's a lot of GPP options. Fred VanVleet has been coming down in price tag, $7,900. Same thing with Lowry, $7,700. Siakam, $8,400. I think this makes for a nice GPP or tourney team to be playing. Boucher, $7,100 without Alex Len on the court, projected at 30 minutes. What are your thoughts on this roster?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the one guy we've been really vocal about from Toronto has been Boucher. Even at 7,100, Matt, he still rates out pretty well on our sheet. He's a 1.39 fantasy point per minute with Len off the floor, 21% usage rate as well. I have him pegged for 40 DraftKings points. So I like him as a tournament play. But again, yeah, these guys all make for intriguing tournament plays, that being VanVleet, Lowry, and Siakam. And I feel like every time one of them has a really good game, the others are kind of mediocre. If I had to go anywhere, I'd probably go to, I mean, Siakam's showing 3% owned. So I'd probably go to Siakam if I'm playing tournaments. That ownership's pretty crazy. I know he's the most expensive one out of those Raptors. And I feel like playing alongside Boucher has kind of hurt him in terms of production. But even with that being said, at 3% ownership, I like him I think he has some good tournament upside. So I do like Siakam as a tournament play, and I do like Boucher as a tournament play. I think Lowry and VanVleet are there too if you really want to go there. But I mean, it's hit or miss between those two. One of them plays well, the other one's kind of meh. So I feel like they switch off, honestly.
Yeah, VanVleet at $7,900 is a really good price tag. It's been the lowest in the past 5 weeks that he's been. So definitely like him as a GPP option. Boucher, when Alex Len's not playing, he's at value literally every single time. So I think he's a fantastic play. I think he's an emerging star on this roster. It's just crazy to see all these prices, $7,100, $84, $77, $79 just on one team. But one of these guys will hit ceiling. It always happens. So pick one of these guys for GPPs. Don't look back. For cash, I feel like we're finally starting to get to some cash options here, TJ. The Houston Rockets against the Chicago Bulls. Houston in particular, we don't know what this roster is going to look like with Oladipo at all. Have no idea. Right. Christian Wood, we know, is a usage monster, though. We know he's fantastic. $8,900, slightly underpriced. I don't like that huge price bump that he did get. Still, I think he's worth it. 29% ownership. Eric Gordon right now is projected to start. 28 minutes, though. $5,200. Oladipo is now at $7,500. I think he was close to that price tag. I think he was a little bit cheaper on the Indiana Pacers roster. What are your thoughts? Because I know you have a contrarian pick in here on this overall roster.
Yeah, I don't like it. But yeah, actually, Matt, surprisingly, Tim Hardaway available to play. Okay, so that's good. Okay. Surprisingly, Matt, this is the most expensive Oladipo's been all year at $7,500. So getting traded. Yeah. So we have no John Wall, obviously. He is out tonight again. We have no Daniel House still. Harden obviously got dealt. Matt, so in terms of ownership, Eric Gordon is showing, I don't know what you have him over there on Fantasy Cruncher, but over on Roto, he's 63% owned. And I think it's
that can't be real.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm going to refresh just to make sure that I am not crazy. I don't wear glasses, but maybe it's time for me to invest in some. Yeah, 63.3% owned. For me, Matt, I mean, playing alongside Oladipo, it's pretty tough to say what the offense is going to look like. I think Christian Wood is obviously the one guy that we know is going to get his no matter what. But like Oladipo next to Gordon, we don't know what that's going to look like. So I like Christian Wood as a tournament play. If you're landing there in cash, sure. But like it's going to be tough to do that, especially if you're paying up for the studs that we mentioned between Giannis, KD, Harden, and Luka. If you're getting two of them, there's no shot you're getting Christian Wood in your lineup as well. So more of a tournament play for me there. Again, I'm not going to touch Oladipo. He's showing 40% owned, so I don't really think this is accurate currently, Matt. But I do like Eric Gordon at 5,200, seeing the minutes and being 5,200. Like, he's very cheap. He's very productive with Harden off the floor, but we throw in Oladipo. Not too sure how that's going to look. Yeah. So I like him at 5,200. I think he's a good cash option. Matt, the other guy that we were talking about that I brought up to you was going to be PJ Tucker at 4,500, and he honestly rates out the best for these Houston Rockets for me on the sheet. He gets a 1.3% usage bump with Wall, Harden, and Daniel House off the floor. He's only a 0.66 fantasy point per minute. I have him pegged for 24 DraftKings points. Now, if you do roster PJ Tucker at 4,500, the only reason that I do think he's viable in cash is because he is going to see 36 minutes, okay? He can get you 24 DraftKings points. He can also get you 8. So if you take PJ Tucker tonight and he gets you 8, please do not come at me. This is a very tough night to find value. If PJ Tucker gets you 25 DraftKings points, then please tell me how awesome I am. But don't tell me I stink if he sucks. But no, I think he's a good play, Matt. I think he is in play in terms of cash. He's one of those cheap guys that I am looking at just because the minutes are going to be there. Yeah. And again, it's unsure as to what the offense is going to look like with Oladipo in the mix. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process. I think Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker from Houston are good cash viable options.
We have to kind of sit back and digest here for a little bit, TJ, because Oladipo, when he played with the Pacers 2 years ago, he did not have Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon was on Milwaukee, if you guys remember. He didn't have high usage guys. It was the Oladipo show. It was literally his team. His price tag was around 8K, I think he actually got to the mid 8K range at that point in the season. And he was a phenomenal player overall, very consistent. Not saying he's the old Oladipo, but he's still consistent. And when he has been playing this season on the Pacers, he hasn't been that bad. You can only assume that the usage is going to be heavy on Oladipo, at least on this roster. Not saying he's like the best player on the slate right now, but if you just look at this roster, guys, you're looking between Eric Gordon, you're looking between Christian Wood and who? PJ Tucker. Who's going to get the usage here? It has to be Oladipo or Eric Gordon, in my opinion, and then Christian Wood down low. So if you just look straight up at these price tags here, $8,900, $7,500, $5,200, these guys are very cheap for what they can do. And again, it's a very soft defense here with Chicago. Slight up pace tempo. They're projected to score 114 points, which isn't that bad. So I definitely like Oladipo. I think he's a safer option. I really do. If you just kind of digress and look at the overall picture here. What does Oladipo, what does he have to do against the Chicago Bulls? Against any other team, yeah, I'd be off of him. But again, it's the Bulls. 28.1% is what he's showing right now. Christian Wood, 28.1 as well. So I think you have to take some exposure here. And yeah, PJ Tucker literally has to get more involved. There's no Harden here to take all the usage. So PJ Tucker, another option. DeMarcus Cousins, not that bad. I feel like playing 17 minutes, 5K, with him being a 1.5 something fantasy point per minute player is never a bad option. Yeah, so there has to be some guys that have to step up in this offense. It's just a matter of who. And stats say it's going to be Oladipo, Eric Gordon, and Christian Wood. So
yeah. So Matt, I think what you're talking about with Oladipo, if you want to like try and substitute him and say like he's going to get the production of John Wall, you're looking at 28 to 32% usage with Harden off the floor. So if you're going to substitute Wall for Oladipo and say like, hey, Oladipo, like 30% usage for you, yeah, he's fantastic at 7,500.
He hasn't been playing bad this season at all. So
no, he hasn't. And I just think for cash, I think the safer plays are going to be. I think Eric Gordon's the safer play. And I'm not going to say PJ Tucker's a safer play. I just think he's an option for tonight.
That's a lot of minutes. Yeah. You're going back to favoring minutes, and I like that. So, all right, PJ Tucker, start him or not, just don't get mad at us when he drops 8 points.
Don't come at me if he stinks, but tell me I'm good if he's great.
Sounds like a deal.
I want all the glory and just none of the hatred. That's basically what I'm saying. Please.
If you guys could please show us some support real quick and hit that like button, get us to the top of the search results. We're always looking for that 380 mark because that will break our overall record. If we get to that mark, $25 giveaway, possibly even more. Hopefully you guys can do that for us. Let's move on to the Chicago Bulls. Sorry. Any interest here, TJ? This is a very bad Matt, Houston Rockets team. What's up?
We just got some. I don't know if Patrick Williams was originally on the injury report.
He was.
I see him questionable now. Okay, yeah, he's still a game time decision. So we need to keep an eye on that because if he is out, that opens up some minutes. He's been playing mid 30 minutes in competitive games as of late. So that's going to be interesting because that's going to be a lot of minutes that go to a guy like Garrett Temple. I'm trying to think of who else would garner some of these minutes. Maybe Thad Young.
Well, Temple's also a game time decision.
19. Yeah, so we got to keep an eye on these Chicago guys because there would be some potential cheap options here.
They just all got such an aggressive price increase. That's what I hate about all these guys.
Yeah. So if he's out, Matt Williams, then I think there opens up some really good value in guys like Garrett Temple and Thad Young, because I think those would be the direct beneficiaries. Is that the word I'm looking for? With Patrick Williams being ruled out. But if he is in, I don't have any interest here in terms of cash, Matt. We talked about this before. Archie Diacono at 3K. Good matchup against Houston. Some points to be scored. He hadn't played in a while. He just played against Dallas for the first time in 3 weeks. Played 17 minutes. Like, he is bottom of the barrel 3K. So if you're taking a chance on anybody here in cash, like, I don't hate Archie Diacono. I think it's I'm not going to compare him to PJ Tucker because PJ Tucker is going to double his minutes, but I think Archie Diacono is way more efficient in terms of fantasy points per minute. So if you're trying to fit in, Oladipo, Harden, and Luka, or Giannis, KD, and Christian Wood or something, and you need a cheap guy, I think Archie Diacono is one of those guys you're looking at 3K. But again, no real interest here for me. Archie Diacono, I wouldn't hate if you're landing on him in cash as the last piece. And then if Patrick Williams is out, that opens up some really good value here.
Some good news is we should get the injury report before the slate starts, but probably after the live stream is over. So we will say this, guys.
Patreon.
Patreon. Look towards this team for value. Specifically, I have a couple guys in mind. Thaddeus Young would pop to the very top. Again, assuming that Porter, Patrick Williams ruled out, possibly Garrett Temple. If two of those three guys are ruled out, I think that's enough value right there off the rip. I think anything over 23 to 25 minutes for, I'm not going to say his last name, Ryan, nope, not doing it. Thaddeus Young at 23 minutes. I think that is solid value right there. I really do. And against Houston, we keep talking about the matchup here between Chicago and Houston. Very bad matchup for both sides of the ball. A lot of offense, not too much defense. So I really do like this team for value. I think that's the only team right now that has any sort of value. Let's go ahead and switch over to the very last team here. This team finally has some solidified value, though, as of right now, without any injury news. Specifically with Draymond Green, James Wiseman. What are your takes on both of these guys?
Yeah, so again, I told you, if you're starting Bills, Luka Harden, like I probably 99% sure am going to be doing tonight. Like, yeah, I'm looking at a lot of these mid 4K, lower 5K range guys to fill out the rest of my lineup. And I'm looking at Draymond Green and James Wiseman. They're carrying a bunch of ownership. Draymond probably going to get 30 minutes if this game stays competitive. He's got, I feel like, Matt, I feel like he offers a really low floor, but also offers the potential of a high ceiling. It's a very wide range with Draymond. He can get you 12, he can get you 40. I feel like it kind of depends on what kind of mood he's in. Going up against the Lakers too, I really like this. Going up against LeBron. So I'm all in on Draymond tonight in terms of cash at 5,200. Looking at his numbers alone, Matt, nothing really pops up. He's a 0.83 fantasy point per minute and only a 12% usage rate. But he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be productive. Yeah. So I just think he's cheap. I do like the matchup against the Lakers. Golden State's actually 9-point dog. So I think they're going to need him to play well and get guys easy buckets, which is something Draymond can do. Hopefully he doesn't shoot a lot, because when he shoots a lot, that's when he stinks. To keep this competitive against the Lakers. So I do like him. James Wiseman is very interesting. Last 2 games, he's closed out the last 2 games for Golden State against Indiana and Denver. So I like that as a sign. So he's been getting minutes in the fourth quarter, which is huge. We know the Lakers have some size, so they're going to need Wiseman's size against guys like Gasol, Anthony Davis. So I really like Wiseman at 4,600. He's going to be a cash lock for me, Matt.
Okay.
Currently, he's projected at, what do you have him projected at right now?
22.4.
Okay, so 20. I have him at 22 minutes. So yeah, I think he can play
minutes. 23.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so you have 22. I have 23. I think he can play 26 to 28 minutes. He needs to stay out of foul trouble. It's going to be a really tough matchup against AD. But again, they need his size against AD and Marc Gasol down low. So I really like Wiseman as a cash lock. If I'm looking anywhere else, Matt, I mean,
say his name.
Tournaments. You want me to say Steph?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Steph for tournaments.
Yeah.
We know the upside is there. He's carrying 10% ownership that I'm seeing.
12.
So I really like him at 90. Okay, 12, 10%, whatever. We'll call it 11. You want to meet in the middle?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So 11% ownership for Steph. 9,800, Matt, projected at 35 minutes. An uphill battle against the Lakers. Fantastic pivot off of guys like Giannis, KD, Harden, Luka. He's the stud being underlooked right now, so I love him in tournaments. But yeah, I think Draymond and Wiseman are viable. I really like Wiseman. As long as he can stay out of foul trouble, they need that size.
Yeah, I think Draymond Green and James Wiseman are going to be near cash locks for me. Again, it's all going to be based on roster construction. I really am hoping these Bulls show up on the injury report, because I am lacking some really bad value right now, or else I'm going to have to be going to guys like PJ Tucker, me and you both, TJ. So yeah, Draymond Green, James Wiseman, and I think Steph Curry's an automatic GPP play there. Probably one of the best contrarian plays on the slate. Speaking of contrarian plays, guys, Anthony Davis is $9,300. Just let that sink in. Anthony Davis is $9,300. LeBron James, $9,700. Pace up spot for both of these guys. They're projected at 118 points. TJ, do you agree with both those stances as really, really contrarian plays here on the slate?
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about, Matt, they just really haven't needed them too much.
No.
So the minutes have been down for both of these guys, and rightfully so, because the Lakers have just been dominant so far to start the year. So yeah, if this can be competitive against Golden State, AD at 9,300 is absurd. LeBron at 9,700 is absurd. If they can get 35 minutes in a competitive game, like they can easily pay off those price tags. So yes, love them for tournaments as well.
Yep. Nobody else we're talking about in the Lakers. I'm not going to go there. Please don't make me go there. Anybody else? Come on. Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, KCP, like at 3,900, he's cheap, and he might see okay. 25 minutes. So like, I don't hate him as a last piece, but again, I think there are some better options like we've talked about. So yeah, I'm not locking in KCP at all.
Imagine saying that out loud. I'm locking in KCP.
I know. No, I would never, ever say that. But yeah, I just think he's very cheap, and if it's competitive, he could play 26 minutes, and he might be able to get you 22 DraftKings points. So, more of a tournament play, but again, he is somewhat of value tonight. So
we spent quite some time breaking down that entire slate. Let's bring it all together, TJ. Right now, we are going to give.
I said KCP out loud.
Right now, let's go ahead and bring it all together and break down our cash locks. 4 cash locks. If you're locking them in right now, where are you going?
You're not gonna like who I say, Matt. God, if I were to give 4 cash locks right now, it would be Eric Gordon. It would be
Really? Okay.
James.
I did not
Yep.
expect that word. Okay, I didn't expect that name. Go ahead.
Yep. It'd be Eric Gordon. It would be James Wiseman.
Okay.
It's gonna be. I think Draymond Green is probably smarter, but I'm gonna say James Harden and Luka. So I would give Harden, Luka, Eric Gordon, and James Wiseman.
Wow.
Is your mouth just
just
ajar
wait until
right now?
no, just wait until the YouTube video just catches up and you can
until it catches up and
yeah.
everybody hears that. Yeah, guys, I think Draymond Green obviously at 5,200 is good. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay. I don't hate those plays. I just think they're a little bit more contrarian for my liking. If I'm locking in some cash plays, I just shook my mic. By the way, LeBron James is shot up in ownership. He must be fit in a lot of these builds. I don't think that's accurate either. We're gonna wait here. I think overall as a strategy, first of all, I'm waiting on these Bulls to the last second. I'm not settling for PJ Tucker tonight. The value plays that I am for sure playing tonight, I think regardless of the Chicago Bulls, it's going to be James Wiseman. It's going to be Draymond Green. I think I'm locking both those guys in regardless. I really think I'm going to. And then it's going to be hard for me to come off somebody like Giannis. I don't think it's either going to be Giannis or Chris Middleton. I have to have one of those Bucks, TJ. Absolutely have to have one of them. I don't care who it is. It's going to be Giannis or Chris Middleton. I'm going to prefer Giannis. And then also going to be Victor Oladipo for me. He's actually tied for the highest owned on the slate. But again, I'm going to settle for somebody like Victor Oladipo or Eric Gordon for Houston. Because again, way too much usage to go around. So those are my takes.
Yours are safer.
Oladipo, Giannis, Draymond Green, and Wiseman are my cash locks right now.
I like Matt's better.
Like
Matt, somebody called us cringy, just so you know.
You guys are so cringy. Well, he's also... Is he a Pelicans fan? Or is that just his name?
I think he's just a Pelican.
That username is not sitting well for me.
TSJ just said, don't ever talk to Poppy, Matt, or Daddy TJ like that. It's incredible. What a guy. TJ, you're the best.
All right, let's go ahead and switch over to GPP plays.
Wait, Matt, you don't want to have PJ Tucker as a lock and cash?
No, I'm going to pass on that one.
Word. God.
All right, let's go ahead and break down. We already broke down GPPs. Let's just go straight to questions.
Talked about tournaments.
Yeah, let's go straight to questions. Yep.
Wow. Someone can ask. If
42 freaking notifications. Are you kidding me, guys?
Discords?
Yeah.
Discords? Wow.
All right, first question. I'm struggling with Wood's salary to build a decent lineup in cash. DeAndre Jordan, that's another good option, by the way. DeAndre Jordan, Giannis is giving me better value, but lower ownership. Is that bad in cash? I don't hate it. I prefer DeAndre Jordan in cash. I think he's a good option. Oh, hold on, TJ. My headphone just died. I'm plugging it in. So go ahead and answer those questions.
All right. Let's see what we got here. No hat today. Yeah, guys, no hat for me. I got a haircut, so you won't be seeing a hat for a while. I don't look like I'm homeless anymore. Maybe I do. I don't know. KD, good value. Yeah, I like KD in cash. Again, you're picking between KD, Giannis, Luka, Harden. Trying to get 2 of 4 of them in. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I wish I could give you guys a clear and concise answer as to what 2 I think are the best. I said Luka and Harden. Matt leans Giannis and going a little bit cheaper. And I don't think any avenue is the wrong one. You like Portis for tiers?
Right,
yeah, Bobby Portis has been playing real good.
Sorry about that.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Could be crazy, but this is kind of competitive game. DeAndre Jordan could get in foul trouble and sneaky GPP play and Perry. Yeah, we did mention that. Perry could get some run, but again, that's strictly dependent on DeAndre Jordan getting in foul trouble, so I don't necessarily like that, but you can throw him in a bigger GPP. Denzel Valentine with no Williams. Valentine does get minutes, however, I do prefer some of these other guys on the roster. Wiseman or Jordan, straight up, TJ? It's a good question. I like Wiseman.
Wiseman or who? Or DJ?
DJ.
I lean Wiseman too, but I wouldn't mind having both, honestly. Yeah.
What position should you use for utility spot? 3 centers tonight in cash? There's a lot of center options. I don't hate that. Again, it's dependent on your build, though. DJ, go ahead.
Liking Joe Harris. Yeah, I like Joe Harris. He's got to hit his shots, though. He's a catch and shoot type guy, so he's going to get open looks with guys like Harden and KD on the floor with him. So Jordan or Draymond, I probably lean Draymond, but again, I like both if you're looking for cash. KCP, yeah, Bo, I know, I said it out loud. DeAndre Jordan for cash, yep, cash viable. KC Poops, I know it's got it right. Thad Young, yeah. So no, I think if Patrick Williams is out, Thad Young and Temple become some really good values. Come on, Matt, get drunk and put PJ Tucker in your lineup. See, Aaron gets it.
I might
Pick
have to
one.
do that.
Middleton, Boucher, or Oladipo. I think Oladipo is going to carry the most ownership. Matt, I think you can agree with me there.
I agree.
So, and then I probably would go Middleton as my second pick if you're looking at tournaments. But we do like Boucher. We like all three of those guys tonight. I think they're all in good spots, honestly. Matt, you gave out your cash locks, correct?
Yes. I want to get to this question that was just asked in the chat. Do you give out example lineups on your Patreon? Could you tell me a little bit of what I get if I sign up? Sure. For Patreon, you guys get all of our favorite cash locks. You get a core 4, at least for NBA you do, and also all of our favorite leverage spots. Also, on the cheat sheet itself, it shows you the best leverage spots, so it shows you pivot spots. Again, all that information is actually on our Patreon exclusive playlist. If you guys want to head over there, a bunch of free videos. Has everything to do with Patreon. So if you guys are hesitant on whether to join or not, head over there. By the way, we have a lot coming down the pipe, so wait about 4 to 6 weeks, and you guys will hear a lot more about what we have to offer. All right, go ahead. Just wanted to answer that question.
Yep, I just had a pizza combo, and I think it's stuck in my throat. Kuzma out. I haven't seen that, Philip. So if he's out, please let us know, but I don't think he's out. Who do you think picks up the minutes with Porter out? Young, question mark? Is Otto Porter still Otto Porter out. Oh, who picks him up? Well, Patrick Williams has been. But he's questionable too. So sorry, I got confused. So we have to wait and see what's going on there. Garrett Temple's picking up some as well. So Patrick Williams is out, opens up Thad Young, I think, and Garrett Temple to take over those minutes. Eric Gordon, Oladipo,
Sterling
Green.
Brown ruled out Monday.
Oh, he is out?
Yep.
Okay. That doesn't really have too much effect. Especially with Oladipo being there. He was only pegged for like 15 minutes, so.
Okay, that's still minutes.
Yeah, I think he was more doubtful, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Matt, we got a lineup from Grant. Oh, you guys don't like Drew Holiday. I like Drew Holiday as a tournament player.
I like him for tournaments, not for
Yeah. Eric Gordon, Oladipo, Green, Giannis, Wood, KCP, Green, Wiseman. I mean, I don't hate that, Grant. What two Greens do you have? You have Draymond and who? Jeff Green, I would assume?
Not Danny Green.
Jeff Green? So Eric Gordon, Oladipo, Jeff Green, Giannis, Christian Wood, KCP, Draymond Green, Wiseman. Yeah, I like that. I think that's viable.
All right, GPP, Harden, Luka, Denzel Valentine, TLC, Draymond, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, Jeff Green. A lot of Brooklyn Nets. I feel like you need some Milwaukee guys in there, just saying. But other than that, I like the overall build. It's very contrarian, so play in the big GPP. And big GPPs, could you play Wiseman with Green? Yes, because they're both so cheap. If you're playing like Steph, Draymond, and Wiseman, that's when you're playing too much Warrior or too many Warriors. Do you have to have a net and cash? It's a good question, TJ. Do you think so? You have to have a net and cash?
I mean, I think there's good value there. So do you need it? No. Should you? Probably. I think, I mean, Harden's in play. KD's in play. I think TLC's in play. DJ's in play. Bruce Brown's carrying a lot of ownership too, Matt. I think he's a guy that's going to see minutes, but I just don't trust his production alongside Harden. So I think some of those guys we just touched base on are more viable than Bruce Brown.
Sorry, real quick. I just saw a comment come in. Matt, DGF, congrats on the Monkey Knife Fight partnership. Love that site. Really excited for it. Yes. By the way, we are officially partners with Monkey Knife Fight and Prize Picks.
Thank you, Frank.
Use the code DGF on both those sides. For Monkey Knife Fight, you get 100% match up to $50. For Prize Picks, it's 100% match up to $100. So either one of those sites, DGF, if you guys are new to prop betting or if you guys just want to check out the site, head over there. You can utilize our projections on both those sites. So I think Monkey Knife Fight is the exact same as Prize Picks, except it's limited in the amount of people you can bet on or do an entry on. It's more of a pick 'em. You can pick one player or the other, who's going to score more, who's going to score less, and it's more it's more limited than Prize Picks. But both of those sites we're both partners with. Monkey Knife Fight and Prize Picks. DGF is the code you use.
Matt, I got a quick question for you. What kind of shirt are you wearing? Because it looks pretty sweet.
It is a palm tree shirt. It's actually one of my favorite shirts to wear on vacation. And it was listen, the only reason I'm wearing it is because we're behind on laundry. Truth be told.
Okay.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, awesome. Connaughton, Brunson, Thad Young, and GPPs. Yeah, I think Connaughton's a decent cheap option. So is Brunson. I like Thad Young a lot more if Patrick Williams is going to be ruled out. Siakam, Curry, Davis to start my GPP lineup. That's getting different, so I don't hate that. Can't wait to see Durant and Harden big game together. Honestly, they can both put up 40 tonight. Yeah, I agree with you, Josh. I think they're both viable in cash. If you're looking there, they could easily both put up 40 points. Lopez for cash. We didn't mention Brooke Lopez,
I don't
Matt.
mind him. I really don't.
Okay, yeah, at 5,600, I think I'd rather go to DJ and Wiseman tonight. But
agree
yeah,
with you.
I don't hate him. I just think that price tag's a little too rich when you have some better center value. But I don't, Mike, if you're landing there, I don't hate it. Bo said, "Oh man, I might have to land on PJ Tucker. Hey, join the club, man. We'll ride and die together." Favorite values 4K and under. There are none.
Bulls, guys. I will say wait on the Bulls, because if the Bulls are ruled out, any one of them, there's some value opening up for that team that I do actually like a lot more than any one of these guys.
Yeah, if you're looking 4K and below, I think if you want to throw Brunson in there, I don't hate him, but KCP at 3,900 is pretty trash, but like he's there. He'll see minutes. TLC I think would probably be my favorite at 3,700. If you want to take a shot on like Wes Iwundu, he's going to play starter minutes. Only 3,300. He could get you 18 DraftKings points. And who else? Archie Diacono, I don't hate at 3K. And then there was Connaughton's decent at 3,600. Again, these are mostly tournament guys. And then DJ Augustine, a tournament play too at 3,500. I think those are all decent pump plays. I think one of them could have a big night. I think TLC is probably my favorite though. What else do we have? Matt, Jaden said Patreon worth it 100%. Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you. Appreciate that. More to come, guys.
Value?
More to come.
Yep. Definitely more to come. Let's see. Burke or Brunson? Sydney asked. I think you go Brunson tonight. TJ, what do you think of cash? Luka, Gordon, Temple, Tucker, Wiseman, Harden, Green, and 4,200 for forward.
Okay.
Thad Young.
I don't mind
Yeah,
that.
Matt. Yeah, I don't hate that either.
You're waiting on the Bulls, so
yeah,
that's
I still don't
lineup if the Bulls are out.
Yeah, I don't hate Thad Young, even if Patrick Williams plays. Like I think he can get you value even in 20 minutes. I just don't know if it's really safe. I think I'd rather go TLC, and then if you do TLC though, then you're kind of locked in. So
Noah has a window in his lineup.
Oh God! All right, so no, good luck. Hey, he's gonna play 28 minutes, so it's 3,300. Yeah. Like just exist. Don't be like Dwayne Bacon was. Don't be like Dwayne Bacon today, where you were literally 1-7 and you got 2.75 DraftKings points in like 28 minutes. Like, just exist. Just be there. Just
exist. We have to get that quote on a shirt somewhere.
Thoughts on Tate? He's been playing pretty good, but like
PJ Tucker, just exist.
With Oladipo there and stuff, then no, a window exists. I don't really like Tate. I feel like his minutes might come down a little bit here. Which players can step up to help Luka? I'm not 100% sure who is playing for them tonight. So I think guys that need to step up and help Luka are going to be Porzingis and Hardaway. Besides that, Willie Cauley-Stein needs to get boards. Brunson needs to be. Yeah, Brunson needs to be somewhat effective off the bench. So does Trey Burke. But yeah, it's mostly going to fall on the shoulders of Luka. I feel like that's always the same thing.
I just want to put this in perspective one more time for you guys. The Milwaukee-Brooklyn game is at 240 right now. The next highest is Golden State Lakers, 227. Okay, so if you're looking for fillers, please attack that game. I don't care who it is. Please attack that game. That game is going to be very high scoring, and it should be competitive.
Yeah, Matt, you know what I just didn't just realize, but is kind of hitting home a little bit here.
The fact that
Florian just brought it.
The fact that Giannis is better than Harden?
Luka? No.
Oh, okay.
Luka is on a back-to-back, so that is the only thing that
You're not
scary.
Playing Luka. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pivot off of Luka, but I'm probably going to play Luka. So no, maybe a putback. So no, what's better than an offensive rebound putback?
Nothing.
Aaron Baines starting. Yeah, Ken. He's probably going to start, but it doesn't matter. He's not going to play minutes.
8 minutes?
All going to go to Boucher.
Okay, it seems more than 8 minutes, isn't it?
No, that's what they've been doing with him and Len. One of them's been starting.
Take him out the rest of the game?
Yep. They've been going to Boucher, and they run Siakam at the 5-2 sometimes. It's just what they've been doing.
Okay.
Could
Whatever.
need size tonight against Dallas. I mean, you got Willie Cauley-Stein there. You got Porzingis. So I guess if you want to take a shot on Baines playing 10 minutes, then fine. But I just don't think he's going to see the minutes. They haven't been doing it. Powell or Lopez? I think I would go Brook Lopez.
Yeah, I would too.
Damian Lee. I don't hate Damian Lee. He'll
horrible.
probably play around 20 minutes. I just think there's better options there that'll probably play more consistent minutes. And Damian Lee he's not bad off the bench, but again, I think there's better guys there with more opportunity that'll play some more minutes than him. Macklemore for cash. I'm off of Macklemore for cash. A guy that can get very hot shooting the ball, but very reliant on hitting those threes that he's going to jack up. So if he can, he can easily hit 6 threes coming off the bench, but I feel like that's I'm not really too high on him, especially with Oladipo there. So Sterling Brown is out, Blake, just so you know. Matt, can we talk a little bit more about constructing tournament lineups versus cash?
Sure.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say, look at cheap guys. You know, if we're looking at these studs of Luka, Harden, Giannis, and KD, Steph Curry's right there at 9,800, falling by the wayside, as is LeBron at less than 10% ownership for both of those guys. So I love them. Anthony Davis, Matt, at 7,800, really good matchup against Golden State. I'd really like him for tournaments. Siakam's throwing 3% owned. So like when I'm looking at tournaments, like there's guys that are in better spots, but even with that being said, if a guy's carrying like a fourth or a fifth of their ownership, it's really good to take chances on those guys, because if the ownership busts on somebody that's 40 or 50% owned in a tournament and you took the pivot off of that guy and they're 7% owned, like you put yourself in a position to beat 40% of the field just by having leverage on that one guy and pivoting off of him and getting a little bit more contrarian. So, I mean, in slate, this is only a 4-game slate, Matt. So we are going to see some more bulky ownerships on some of these studs. So yeah, look at some of these guys that are going to come in lower on.
It's funny that you say that, because it's literally all over the place right now. So I will say for tonight specifically, like as cliche as this sounds, and I usually don't say cliche things like this for tournament plays, play the best lineup that you possibly have. Like play the minutes on some of these players and high over unders. Focus on that. Like I said, like Victor Oladipo's in a very good spot. He's $7,500. He could easily cover his price tag and smash it. With a lot of these tournament winners in the Millie Maker, they fall between like a balanced type of lineup. Like you usually don't see a stud and dud lineup make it in there. You usually don't. Now with this slate, it's going to be a little bit different because it's literally just studs on the slate. But usually, I mean, people like Victor Oladipo, Middleton has such a high ceiling tonight at 8K, could easily smash a value turn into 60 points. I mean, that's what 10 times, 11 times value at that specific price tag. The studs can't really do that. But you look at these guys like Eric Gordon in such a good spot to hit value and smash it. You got to look at high upside at their price tag. LeBron James, $9,700. Christian Wood, very cheap, $8,900, for just specific to their price tag and game script. But yeah. That's all I have to say. For usually the Millie Maker winners are usually balanced. They don't usually go stud and dud. They don't bottom of the barrel price tag chase. It's a small tournaments where you do that. Also, one last thing. Don't stack more than 2 players from a specific team if you're playing a very, very big tournament. It never wins. Never does it. Guarantee it. Okay? Usually chase the ceiling guys, 1 or 2 guys from each game.
See, this is what happens when you talk tournaments with Matt. He just doesn't stop.
Just don't stop.
Matt Davis asking Wiseman or Jordan, can't decide. Eileen Wiseman. Yeah, what you think about Markkanen? Markkanen's been pretty decent for Chicago. If Patrick Williams is out, that's going to be more minutes that he can potentially play. I mean, he's going to play 35 if the game's competitive anyway. So yeah, I don't hate him, but a tournament play for me for sure. I wouldn't go there in cash tonight. All right, Matt, where's your head at?
Yeah, I need to check one last checkup on. We don't have any more questions. Oh wow, okay. I think we can sign off.
All right.
I think we're good to go.
I gotta go try and find my Luka build.
Good luck. I gotta go do a lot of other important things, a lot of business stuff too. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, and we will be updating our favorite value plays in the Discord when Chicago gets ruled out.
Yeah, okay? Guys, listen, if you see Patrick Williams get ruled out and you're panicking, come find us at Patreon. If you're not a member, sign up. Matt and I will be in there. We got plenty of other people in there just talking and discussing potential lineups. So you can come find us in there. And, you know, if that Chicago news breaks, then that's some good value.
It will break the slate 100%. All right, guys. With all that being said, have a great rest of your night. Let's cash. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good luck, guys.